Hello, welcome back to our Java learning sessions. In the previous session, what we have learned is we have understood what is Java as a programming language, the various usages of Java, and then we had installed the Java in our computer. Okay, and this in today's session, after installation, what will happen, and we are going to explore at what location the Java gets installed and what are the various tools that are available in the installation. What are the various tools that are available in the installation, and also we'll write our first Java program. Maybe we have already written a Java program in our previous session, but we'll rewrite the same program. We will see how do we compile and how do we run, and what different options we have in the installation. Okay, so let me start with the installation directory. I have created as you know, we all know that we have installed under the program files, under the Java, and under the JDK we have installed, and this is what we call as a Java home. What do we call it? We call it as a Java home directory, or we also call it as Java development kit installation folder or directory. Okay, so once I install Java development kit, so as of today, at the time of this video recording, JDK 14 is the latest version from the Oracle Corporation. As you know, we have already discussed, like Java was only originally built by Sun Microsystems. Later, because Oracle Corporation has acquired Sun Microsystem, Java also become a product of the Oracle Corporation. Now Oracle Corporation now distributes this JDK over their website and you have to agree certain licenses as part of that. Okay, so now after I installed JDK into my location, so I get if I open the directory, I'll see a couple of folders like bin, like conf, like include, like jmods, legal, and lib. As of now, we will be interested in two directories, one by the name bin, another by the name lib. Okay, so let me open this bin folder. Okay, so if I open this bin folder, what I can see is couple of a folder by the name server. If I want to run this Java Java installation as the Java server, I will be using the DLLs. I won't be directly using them, but internally the component will use them. And then there are a couple of DLLs. So because this is a Windows machine, to run this Java exe Java software in this machine, so it has to take certain help from the underlying operating system, and the underlying operating system is Windows, and Windows mostly works with the DLL, dynamic loaders and linker files. Okay, so this is a dynamically loadable library that gets loaded into memory and that talks to the operating system. We may not be interested much on this DLL files, but we will be interested in the other files that ends with the extension .exe. Let me open this file. See, if you notice, all these files which are of type application ends with a .ext extension. So if you look into this, as of now, let me segregate with this application, and as of now, Java installation gives me nearly 123 tools for me for writing my Java programs and running my Java programs. Okay, so you may be wondering that 123 tools, am I going to remember all these things? No, ideally we won't be using all those things directly, but when we use Studio, when we use integrated development environments like IDEs, they may be internally using all these tools. So now, what are the tools that I will be mostly using are, okay, so let me highlight them. The first tool or the first command, we also call it as command. The first command that we are going to use is the javac command. Okay, and the second command that we are going to use, or the second tool or the second exe file that we are mostly used, is the is the Java command. And apart from that, from time to time, we may be using a jar command. We may be using the javac command. We may be using the java doc command. And if I look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the mostly widely used commands as part of your learning. So as part of your learning, javac and Java are the two important commands that we are going to execute in our day-to-day life. Okay, so what is Java C? C stands for compiler. So Java C stands for Java compiler. So what we write as part of our program development, we write a program in a English. Okay, in the English following the Java grammar. Okay, Java programming language. We call it as, if I write some English following the grammar provided by the Java uh, software, then we call it as Java program. So I have written a Java programming language. So, and I have to convert the Java programming language program written in English and the Java programming language to make it the computer to understand. I need to compile it. What does it mean? Compilation is a process of translating instructions written in one programming language or one language into another language. So I write the program in English using the Java programming language, and this javac command is responsible to convert this program and the instructions inside it so that it will be understood by the underlying hardware to execute while executing the program. Okay, so unlike C++, Java C don't actually convert the program into machine understandable language, but it actually converts into an intermediary program, and from there it gets interpreted. Okay, so after compilation, I generally use a Java command, java.exe command to execute the Java program. Okay, now let's write a Java program. So for that, let me go to different location. I call it JI videos, Java learning, and as being session 2, let me write a Java program. So let me create a text document, double click and open it. And I'm writing my first program, the same program that we have written yesterday. Just follow public class. I'm calling it a name. I'm giving it a name. I follow certain indentation and margins. Public static void main args. Okay, and I am writing another message called system.out.println, and I am asking the system to print the message hello world. Let me call it as session 2. Okay, so I'm saving it. I completed writing this program. Now if you notice, this program is still under the name new text document, but all Java programs have to be written in a file called file with extension .java. So let me save this file in the same location. Let me give it a name as hello world.java. Now, if I press hello world.java and if I press save, what will happen is it will get saved as hello world.java.txt. But I want to save it as hello world.java only. Okay, I'm saving this file. Yeah, the file got saved and I don't need this new text document. I have deleted it. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll go to the command prompt from here. So this is called command prompt, where we can issue certain commands to the operating system. So the first command I want to issue is the Let me see if I can enhance the size. Okay, so the first command I said it is java c. Okay, but I want to know uh, okay, let me first execute the hello world dot java. I just press tab so that it does the auto completion. When I did java c hello world dot java, it gave me a compilation error. Let me go back to the program. Okay, so what I have done, I have made a mistake. So I have written the class name as hello class, but I have saved the file name as hello world. So I'm correcting that mistake and I'm going back and I am executing the Java program. So when you do mistakes, then you will learn more. Okay. So never expect that you will be writing a foolproof program at your first instance. The more you make mistakes as part of writing your program, the more learning that you are going to achieve. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I have done Java C hello world. Let me go back to the window. And if you notice, initially we had written only one class with the name .java extension. Let me see if I can options. Okay, let's not go into that. So initially I've written a .java file, and then when I compile, I get a different file by the name hello world.class. Okay, now what I will do, I will just compile the, I will just run the Java class. So to run the Java class, I just need to enter the name of the Java program. Okay, so if you notice here, this is how I compile, this is how I run and execute my Java program. It depends on how many instructions I have written. So those many instructions are executed one by the Java virtual machine. We also call it as Java runtime environment. Now, so how do I compile a Java program? So I compile a Java program with a javac command followed by the name of the file followed by its extension .java. And how do I run the Java program? If the program is successfully compiled, then I can run the Java program by issuing the command called Java followed by the name of the Java program alone. I don't need to give any extension like .java or .class. Okay, so this could be our learning number one. So let me clear the screen and let's do some deep dive into the two commands that we have learned now. The first command is javac. What it is used for what purpose? This is used for the purpose of compiling a Java program. So is there any way of is there any only one way of executing the javac command, or will there be any other ways of executing the javac command? So for that, instead of going to Google and ask Google on various questions, let's see, just enter javac and let's press enter and let's see what happens. Okay, so now you can see that if I enter javac and press enter, what I have written, what I see is the operating system is telling me some instruction, or it is giving me some text displayed onto the screen. So this is what happens when we run some command, and if the command is not complete, the operating system or the underlying Java tool will try to help us with the helper guide. Okay, and here the usage is told as javac and then some options and then some source files. So that means I can give javac command followed by, I can give some options followed by the source files. In the previous example, what we have done javac space hello world.java. That means we have used javac. We have not used any of the options, and then we have used the hello world.java file. Okay, so that means also it says source files. That means I can compile more than one .java file at a time. Okay, so now let's see the various options that we have about doing the javac or Java compilation. So let me copy these things into a notepad. At the initial days, it may be too much for you to go through all of these options. What I will do is I'll just try to explain few important commands. So let me maximize this. So it says the possible options include. So the first command that what I have used is javac hello world dot java. Here what I have used is I have used javac command. I have not used any options, and I have used one file to compile. Okay, that is what the one. Now if I use any of the options, what are those options? So these are the options. Okay, so I will prefer to skip most of these options, delete this option so that you will not be confused to learn lot of things on session 2 itself. I will remove some more apps though. Okay, so we'll start from the top. So boot class path, let me remove this one also. Class path, we will discuss it in the future classes when I write more than one Dart class file. Okay, so I moved it here, and we will talk about /d now. So what /d says? Specify where to place generated class files. Let's execute this command. Prior to that, let me remove the previously generated Dart class file. I have deleted the previously generated Dart class file. I'm going back to the command prompt. Now I have to compile the Java program with the -d extension. Okay, so what I will do here is I am entering the -d extension, and as per the syntax it says I have to give a directory name. So let me give the directory name as Mahesh, and followed by the source file's name. The source file name is hello world.java. Now I entered it. So now I compiled it, and let me go back to the Windows folder. If you notice, what did you notice? Earlier when I compiled hello world, the hello world dot class what generated. But here in this case, the dot class file is missing, but in that place, I see a folder by the name Mahesh. So that is what I mentioned here, -d Mahesh. So let me go and look into this folder Mahesh. Yeah, now what I see inside that folder Mahesh, I got the hello world class generated. Okay, so that means at the time of compilation, if I use dash D as an option, then the compiler is going to place the folder into appropriate location. Okay, so let me go back. Let me delete this one. Let me reattempt doing the same thing. But here, in place of that, I want to place it in C drive slash Raja. Okay, so let me go and see. If you notice, there is nothing happened this time. Why? Because I am currently inside C drive, JI videos, Java learning, and from there session 2, I wanted to compile this program. But what is the instruction I have given? I have given an instruction to the compiler to to save the .class file into C drive Raja folder. Okay, hope you are able to see this. C drive Raja folder, the generated .class is placed. This is how you can control with the help of dash D command where you want to place your Java program. Let me go back and let's see what are the other options we have. So what are the other options we have? Yeah, done. And then the help option is something similar to what we are seeing now. Java C and help. This is something similar to what we are just saying. So this is going to help give us the documentation to understand the various options to use the Java C command. So we are done learning the help. Help extra is something like it is going to give you some additional options. And then the next item is the release option. So what does it mean by release? Okay, what it reads? It reads saying that compile for the specified Java SC release. Supported releases are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So what does it mean? Because I'm running some Java installation version. So what is the installation version I am using here? I am using a Java installation version called Java C dash version. So let me try what is the version I'm using. I'm using Java version 14.0 because my computer I am doing the development. But at the time of running this program in a different computer, that computer may not have the latest Java software. At that time, my program may not be executed because the latest software may not be executed at the oldest hardware, right? So for that reason, what we have to do is we have to use the command called release. Okay, so let me say I want this to be compiled as per JDK 7. Okay, so what it does, it gave me some warning saying that source value 7 is obsolete and will be released in a future. So Java 7 is almost say almost 15 to 13, 12 to 15-year old version of Java. So for that reason, so Java itself is saying that I can generate you Java .class file, but there will be a problem for you because Java 7 uh, will not be available in future. Okay, at that time, what you will be doing is you have to think about it and make a note of it. So let me go and open this .class file. As I mentioned, this cannot be readable as this is Java .class file. Okay, so you can't read this, and now let me delete the .class file. I've deleted the dot class file. And again, let me run this with the may to come to build a dot class file, which is using which will be compatible with the release 8 JDK. If you notice, when I wanted to compile it to Java 7, okay, it actually gave me warnings. But when I said Java 8, there is nothing, no error, and everything went clean. Okay, so now let me go back, and it is the same Java class, that class file that I got created. Now let's go back to other commands. /s. We are not generating any source files. We are not talking about any source. And here, system JDK, by default, whatever the JDK that I am using in my class path, in my Windows path, from that path, it is going to pick the javac command. If I want to override, so what I have executed the command here, I have executed a command called path, which is a operating system command. So this path I have executed, and it showed me that it is picking the javac command from this location. So I have two versions of Java installed in my computer, and it is very well possible. So if I want to compile the Java program from a javac command which is present in a different other location, then I have to use the system JDK. Okay, and then the target release is also the same, and version we have already seen. And let's see the verbose option of the Java command. So let me clear this. When I just set javac hello world, sorry, hello world dot java, it's immediately comes out with no messages to me. Now what verbose does is, as per the theory, the verbose stands for output the messages about what the compiler is doing. So if I want to know what the compiler is doing when I am compiling a Java program, what I will do is I will need to give an option called dash verbose. Compiling it. Oh my God. So when I ran this, I got a very big list of messages. So let me open this. I copied it and I am putting this one into a new program, and control plus to make the font size increased. Okay, so when I initially compiled without any verbose option, I was able to see directly this two. The control was immediately written. Now when I did it with the javac dash verbose, I got these many messages printed on the system. So when I see this one, I can realize that the actually compiler is doing something behind the scenes to between taking the .java file as input and giving me the .class file as out. Okay, so let's look into these statements. So broadly, the statements are categorized as something that starts with parsing, and then something that starts with loading for long, almost good number of loading things, then a command, a message or a message on the screen that says search path for the source files, and then finally another option called checking, and then finally the wrote hello world dot class section. Okay, so to avoid complexity, let me remove most of the loading options. I just kept one loading here, and let me keep these loading options, and the final, let me keep the final options. Okay, so what happens is when I compile a Java program, the compiler will do the parsing. Those who are from computer science background and those who understand language processors or compiler construction, they understand what is meant by parsing. Parsing is a process of checking the written program against the grammar specified in a language. If the program has got any syntactical errors, then this is going to fail at this stage itself. Okay, and nothing will be continued. If the program is syntactically correct, then this phase, the parsing phase, will be successfully completed, and then it will go to the next phase of compilation. Okay, so when I do a compilation, what happens is the first step is parsing, and parsing will use the simple file object that is going to read the entire Java program from the so and so location where I have written the program, and it will check it against the compilation errors. If there are no compilation errors, the parsing gets completed. After that, certain Java classes gets loaded into memory so that they can continue with the compilation process. And later it will search for various source files that are used in the program. In the currently, I don't use any other source files. So that is why it has not listed any source files. Okay, the third phase is, first phase is parsing, second phase is loading, third phase is searching any other .java files. You can also call them as source files. And then again it tries to load two important classes, okay, of Java. The two important classes are the Adi class, or the root class of Java programming language, called object.java, which is present under modules java.base, java long, object.class location. Okay, so once this basic classes are important classes are loaded into the memory, and then it will go and check for your hello world program, and then it will be loading all the classes that are required to compile your Java program. So because I have written a system.out.println, so for that system.out.println, to use the system class, let me open the Java program. I have used this system.out.println. To use the Java class, the compiler actually requires auto-closable and serializable classes. So it reads them in sequence. So whatever is required first, it will load that one into memory. So it loads serializable, then it loads auto-closable, then it loads system. Then because I'm using an out is nothing but for printing purpose we use. So it loads the print stream class, and it will load certain other classes, and then finally it will generate the hello world class, and finally it shows me the total time it takes to compile the Java program. Now this is how the verbose command is useful to me. So now I feel that we are completing, and if I say have other option like I mean, we have already seen dash version. Let me try it again. So clear the screen. The other option is javac dash dash version. So that tells me what version where I'm currently running. So the next option I have is javac dash the w error. So w, let me call it release 7 hello world dot java. So when I said w error, And let me go back and delete this class. Now let me compile it. You will notice that it is giving me an error. Yeah. Now, when I'm running this program with the release 7, it is giving me certain warnings. And after the warnings, it actually generates the Dart class file. Now, let me delete this and let me read out what is a W error option is used for. So it says terminate compilation if warning occurs. So let me use this dash W error. So notice I have deleted the Dart class file here and I'm compiling this with the W error option. Okay. Now if you see, it says warnings found and W error specified. So it actually won't generate the Dart class file. That is what you can notice here, and that is what you have seen it here. Okay. Now we are good. The class path, as we have mentioned, we will be seeing it later point of time. Now let's see what is the Java command now. So Java also have similar features. Okay, but I will be very short in explaining Java. So let me first compile the Java program. I have compiled the Java program and the .java class got generated. Now I'll just run the Java program with the hello world without any extension. Okay, so this is how Java is executed. Now I will just issue the verbose command. Even Java comes with a lot of options, but I am just limiting the options for only verbose now. Oh, too many. Okay, so to what I will do now here is I will redirect the output to test.txt file. Okay, so the output, whatever is generated, gets moved into a file called test.txt. Now what happens when I compile when I run the Java program? So when I run the Java program, look at this line number 1. It says opened something called modules. Okay, and then it says java.lang.object shared object file. You can see that the logger says, the message says, everything says load. Okay, and then you can see here it is actually loading after loading these many library classes. After loading these many library classes, you will be wondered how many library classes I will show you. The line number, if I say one line each library class takes, it actually loaded nearly 445 library classes to run your Java program. Okay, and then after loading all these library classes that are required to run your Java program, it finally loads our program and then it executes our program. Okay, so this is what happens behind the scene, and that is why Java is so famous, that this nearly 456 classes, nearly 500, I can say nearly, just to print hello world message, nearly 450 small library classes contributes, and that contribution happens in less than a millisecond time. Okay, it's so fast. Okay, I am using, so let me see how long does it take to print a hello world actually. So it's a fraction of a second, not even say it's in milliseconds. So even though Java does require 450 library components to work together to print the hello world message, but still it manages to gives you the output in a fraction of second. That is the beauty of Java, and that is the main reason for the success of Java programming language. Okay, so with this we will end today's session. We will resume with the session number 3, uh, and I'm going to upload this video, and let's please practice, and tomorrow we'll be starting, I mean in the next session we are going to start writing the basic Java programs and various other options.